Find all the solutions to the equation square root 2. Let's start there. Just want to focus people, focus. Okay, just want to start there. Square root 2 cos x plus 1 equals 0. We're looking at the domain of 0, less than equal than x, less than equal than 2 pi. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to find cos x by itself. We know how the cos graph looks like, but we don't know how this graph looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get cos x equals some constant value. To do that, I'm going to first subtract x both sides. So I'm going to have square root 2 cos x plus 1, subtract both sides, it becomes negative 1. And then I'm going to divide by square root 2. So I'm going to say cos x equals minus 1 square root 2. Now I'm back to my simple old equations. I just want to focus again. Cos x equals minus 1 over square root 2. Back to the drawing board. I'm working in radians, calculators in radians. I sort of remember 1 over square root 2, that is a special triangle. So I don't really need my calculator, unless you can't remember and you have to do it. But anyway, I'm not judging anybody. If you then go and say my cast, I'm working with pi, so I'm starting at 0, I'm going in the positive direction, pi, going on to 2 pi, okay. I first have to find now, cos is negative. Where's cos negative? It's positive there and there, so it's going to be negative there and there, which means this is a reference angle, this is a reference angle. What is the reference angle? My reference angle equals the r cos, that's the ugliest cos ever, now r cos or inverse cos of, without the sign, 1 over square root 2. Now if you can remember, if not, use a calculator. Okay, 1 over square root 2, that's 1, 2 square root 3, so it's not that one. The other one is 45, which looks like this, 1 square root 2, which means that this is pi over 4. So it means that the reference angle is pi over 4. Please, if you can't remember this, pop it into your calculator, r cos of 1 over square root 2, and it spits out pi over 4. Please also make sure that your calculator is in radians, otherwise it's going to give you 45, and then it's going to have a huge mistake in your final answer. Okay, so I know that this is pi over 4, this is pi over 4. To make things easier, I'm going to say this is 4 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4 is 1 pi, so I've got two possible answers. Okay, this pi over 4 is what this angle would have been. I'm going to use another color, because I can. I'm going to say the first answer is this answer. Okay, so going from there to there. So I'm going to say, what am I looking for? I'm looking for x. So x equals, going from 4 pi over 4, I'm going into the negative direction. I'm subtracting how much? My reference angle is pi over 4. 4 pi over 4 take away 1 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. Okay, what about this one? I also have this answer. To find that answer, I'm going to go to 4 pi over 4. I'm going to say x, or x equals, I'm going to go to 4 pi over 4, and I'm going to go in the positive direction, add my reference angle. How big is my reference angle? Pi over 4. So 4 pi over 4 plus 1 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. Just ran out of space. There's the two answers. Only two answers. And I'm going to write these answers saying x equals, brackets, smallest one is 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, close the brackets, and that's my final answer.